Do you have a property that is still bonded? And you're wondering, what will happen to that property? Should you pass this on? Will your kids or beneficiaries, those you intend that they benefit from your estate, will they be able to actually benefit from such particular property? These are some of the things that I will suggest that when you're doing an estate plan, you need to be mindful of. We all know that should you pass on and the property is still bonded, what will then happen? The bank will potentially call in their outstanding liability and say, listen, so and so, you owed us, therefore we're claiming so much from your estate. And if it happens that you don't have enough cover, in some cases people take life policies, or for that matter you find that some people, they've got enough funds within their estate, and then the executor is able to settle the outstanding liabilities. And the disadvantage is that some of the people, you might find that they don't pay attention to these scenarios, and they passes on without having enough liquidity within their estate. And as a result, you find that executors end up having to dispose that particular property in order to settle the liability, because the bank has to get something out. You cannot transfer this property to the heirs, to the beneficiaries, if the bank has not been paid. And this is one of the things that makes people, all worked up to say, but we can't lose this property. This property is our family home. But the reality is that the deceased was still owing the bank, and that particular bond still needs to be settled. That is just a reality. So that's why it's so important to have this type of conversation to say, evaluate your estate on a regular basis. Make sure that you are able to manage your estate and in such a way that you've got enough to cover that particular thing. Of course, ideally, we want to make sure that we want to transfer as much wealth as possible to the next generation. And typically, we want to make sure that these properties that we are transferring to the next generation are not bonded, because we want to transfer as much wealth as possible, right? Yes, that's so why it's so important to consider some of these issues of covering and ensuring that when you pass this on, enough wealth is transferred to the next generation and not actually bonded. That will make sure that we transfer as much proper wealth as possible to the next generation. Okay, all the best.